You just checked your phone, maybe 30 seconds ago, maybe 2 minutes. You know there's nothing new on it. You checked already, and yet, somewhere in the back of your mind, a small pull is already forming. A quick suggestion, just once more. It will only take a second. You are not weak. You are not addicted. You are not broken. You're running the most sophisticated, reward-seeking system evolution ever built. And someone figured out exactly how to aim it at a piece of glass. The story of why you can't put your phone down does not start in Silicon Valley. It does not start with a smartphone or social media or the attention economy. It did start in a laboratory in the 1950s, where a rat, a leva, and a psychologist named B.F. Skinner, who was about to accidentally discover the most powerful behavior loop in the history of science. Skinner already knew that animals would press a lever to receive a food pellet. Reward followed action. Simple enough. But one day, almost by accident, the pellet dispenser malfunctioned. Sometimes it gave a pellet, sometimes it gave nothing. The reward became unpredictable, and sometimes extraordinary happened. The red pressed the lever more, not less, more frequently, far beyond anything it had done when the reward was granted. Eskandar had discovered variable ratio reinforcement, and it would eventually become the engine inside every slot machine, every social media feed, and every notification badge on your phone. Here's why it works so powerfully on you specifically. Your brain did not evolve in a world of guaranteed reward. It evolved in a world of unpredictable ones. Your forefather woke up every morning not knowing if the hunt would succeed, not knowing if the foraging would find food, not knowing if the person they approach would accept or reject them. Unpredictably was not a design defect in the environment. Unpredictably was the environment. So your brain built a system to handle exactly this. Neuroscientist Wolfram is spending years studying the dopamine and discovered something that rooted conventional understanding of how reward works in the brain. Dopamine, the chemical the most people associate with pleasure. It not actually released when you get reward. The moment of unpredictably itself. It works fire the dopamine signal, not the outcome. They're not knowing. This chain everything. Every time you reach your phone, you're not chasing a reward you know if there. You're chasing the possibility of one. Maybe some like your post, maybe some sent a message, maybe something happened. That maybe is the trigger. This maybe is what your dopamine system was built to chase. And unlike food or water, a social connection. Things that eventually satisfy and signal the brain should stop. The digital maybe never runs out. There's always another scroll, always another refresh, always one more check. Researcher Anna at university has spent years studying the neuroscience of addiction and compulsive behavior. What she found applies directly to how your phone hijacks your dopamine system. Every time you receive a social reward, a like, a comment, a notification, your brain locks it at his baseline shifts, has a slightly larger to produce the same response. And in between hits, the absence feels raw and natural. It feels like withdrawal, the restless, uncomfortable feeling when you have been not checked your phone for a while. This is not a burden. This is your dopamine baseline recalibrating downward, waiting to the dopa. But dopamine is only half of the story. The other half is social. Your forefather did not survive alone. For the vast majority of human history, being cut off from your group meant death. Full stop. No tribe meant no protection from predator, no access to food store, no chance of reproduction. The brain involved to treat social connection not a luxury, but a survival necessity. Now consider what your phone represents to that ancient social brain. It is not a device, it is a portal to your tribe. Every notification is a potential social signal. Every message is evidence you have not been executed. Every like a small vote that you still wrong. Your social brain cannot tell the difference between a comment on a post and a generally signal from you commenting. It processes both through the same ancient circuitry, and so it monitors your phone the way your forefathers monitored the aim of the camp, consistently, automatically, without being asked. Psychologist Gene Twenge has tracked behavior data across generations of Americans and found something that maps almost perfectly onto this framework. The rise in anxiety and depression among younger generation correlates tightly with a shift from in-person social interaction to screen-based social interaction. Not because screens are inherently harmful, not because the social feedback they deliver is designed to be just similar enough to real connection to keep you engaged, and just different enough to never fully satisfy the underlying need. You keep scrolling because scrolling feel like connection, but it is not quit connection, and the gap between what it promises and what it delivers is exactly wide enough to keep you coming back. There is one more layer here that most conversation about phone addiction miss entirely. Your phone is not just a dopamine machine and a social portal. It is just comparison of human novelty at a scale your brain would never design to handle. Novelty, new information, new faces, new in family, was always valuable to the forefathers.